Ave strategos, I'm Pericles and welcome to my channel. So today we begin to a new series. This won't be a gameplay or basically the campaign series. It will be something different. So I actually gave a bit of information about this series, one of my previous Greek cities campaign episodes. So in this series I'll be talking about temples, religious buildings on the game. I'll be deep diving to the advantages, disadvantages, basically pros and cons, and followers, traits that come along with them. So hopefully that might be any kind of use for you all in some point. Because when I was actually preparing myself for this series, for these videos, and I was basically wandering around the game files, the txt files, about the trades and salaries, also basically triggers and stuff, and I basically acquired quite decent of knowledge, decent amount of knowledge that I didn't know it before, and hopefully that might be applied for you all as well, guys. So let's go ahead and jump to our the first episode of this series. I will be capturing this series faction by faction. So the very first faction on the list is Julii Romans, and as we already know, all the Roman factions, they have three different religious buildings, three options, three different gods or goddesses, let's say, which they are Ceres, Bacchus, and Jupiter. And if you watched my previous videos, you already know that I'm the type of guy usually building one type of basically the religious building in all of my settlements, which after this knowledge that I got, that might change. I was usually choosing the best temple to my playstyle, which with Julii, pretty much in all my playthroughs, I was going with Jupiter, and I was building the shrine to Ceres only at the Patavium. Because of I'll talk about the bonuses of the Ceres grants to us. It gives us a population bonus. So I was building it on Patavium because Patavium is one of the settlements in the game that has the most base, basically the population increase bonus, the population growth bonus per turn. The one of the and how you can check it, you can just come over here and you can see is it over here or yeah, it should be here. So you can basically see the populational growth per turn over here, and all these modifiers affects to it. And Patavium is one of the settlements, is the most in the game. So if you playing a Roman faction and trying to rush the Marian reforms as soon as possible before the other Romans turns their back on you, um, you're trying to get the Patavium to a huge city, to a 24,000 population cap as soon as possible, so you can build the Imperial Palace and get the reforms and whatnot. So that's the only case that I've been using Ceres, but everywhere else I was building a Jupiter. But I might start using all kind of temples after this point. Let's go ahead and start with the basically the series. So as you already see, I did use a console commands for this series. I don't wanna just wait for the turns and stuff, deal with the other factions. So I just use the console commands for all these basically settlements. I did build a temple of Ceres here, Bacchus here, and Jupiter on Ariminum, and also with the help of the console commands, I basically cleaned up all the traits and followers from the family members in each town, of course, except the faction here. I couldn't remove it, and I moved all the followers to this guy, which it was basically the followers that come at the start of the game. So all the traits and followers you're gonna be seeing in here is might come from the religious building. So nothing else is gonna be displayed in there. I cleaned them off. So let's go ahead and start with the temple shrine to Ceres. So the Shrine to Ceres in the game files in general, all the Ceres 3 in the game files, they're going under the Shrine of Temple of Fertility. And it's not only Julii Romans can build a temple to fertility. Germans and Egyptians also do have an access for building those, but most definitely it's not going under the Ceres name. So probably it's some different other god name in their mythology. But let's see what the first tier Ceres building gives us. It gives us 5% public order bonus due to happiness and 0.5% population growth bonus per turn. So it basically increases our population growth a bit, and also gives us a bit of public order, which is the both are pretty nice stats. And let's see once you build this building, what kind of traits and followers you can get. So unfortunately, this building doesn't grant any kind of trait or a follower to your governor, to your general, your family member, but thing I didn't know, it does for your merchant, surprisingly. So if you build a shrine to Ceres, and if you have a merchant sitting on your settlement, once you click to the end turn, the next turn you're getting to the devotion to fertility. But the thing is, your merchant shouldn't have any devotion to any other kind of basically ideology, let's say. So he's getting a devotion to fertility, and chances of getting this trade is 100%, guys. So you for sure gonna get the next turn this devotion of fertility if the guy doesn't have any devotion to any other basically shrine. So what does the devotion to fertility give us? It gives +1 finance when trading grain and -1 when trading lead. I won't be going into too deep on the trade mechanics. I might in the future do another kind of series for the trade, explaining how the trade system, trade mechanics works, how to use the merchants properly and stuff, but this is not the topic today. So we all can just know that the Shrine to Ceres in the first year gives us devotion to fertility for our merchant. And in the first level, that's only what it does, except its own bonuses. Let's jump to the second tier, Temple of Ceres. Temple of Ceres gives 10% of public order bonus due to happiness instead of 5, and also populational growth goes up to 1 from 0.5. So we're getting a little bit upgrades in here, and also we're getting a couple of traits and followers for our family member in general. So the trait that we are getting is it's called a fruitful, and it increases the chance of having children. And in the game file it goes under fertile 1, and you have 10% of chance to get it if your governor, family member, or general sitting in the town, it's in the settlement. If you clicking to the end turn, you have 10% of chance to getting it for the next turn. And you're getting Priest of Ceres with 15% with the same conditions. And let's see what the Priest of Ceres gives to us. +1 management, +1 farming output. So increases of having children, that is I would say the good trait to have. You not being able to get this trait very easily. You can increase your command influence and stuff pretty easily by fights and other stuff. But increase of having children is a nice trait to have. Also, I do like to have a lot of family members, not because of I would like to have a crowded big family. I just like their cavalries, you know. I do like the cavalry that they're granting to us. So more generals means more cavalry, which they replenish themselves on the battlefield. You don't have to retrain them. So that's nice. So I would like to have this trait in my family members. And its follower, it's also have nice traits. It has +1 management, which is management for me the by far the most difficult one to keep it stable or increase it. So +1 management follower is definitely takes my attention immediately. And +1 farming output means more denaries for your treasury as well. So that's a nice follower, and I would say the trade is pretty decent as well. And this is about it with the Ceres actually, the Temple of Ceres actually. The Temple of Ceres doesn't grant any other trait or a follower, neither for our agents or any family members except those two. So let's jump to the third level. At the third tier building, we are getting the large Temple of Ceres with 15% of bonus to the happiness and 1.5% bonus for the populational growth. We're getting a bit of upgrades here, and at the fourth level, awesome Temple of Ceres, this public order bonus goes up to 20 and populational growth goes up to 2. We're basically steadily getting some upgrades along the way, and let's see the Pantheon of Ceres. So at the Pantheon level, we're getting 35. We're just jumping from 20 to 35, which is a nice jump, I would say. And populational growth goes to 2.5, and public order bonus due to low 10%. So as you see, we didn't have this buff before. It comes with Pantheon, which is nice, makes sense, because at the huge city level, when you reach to the 24,000 and more, you starting having some public order issues. So 15% jump in here from 4th level to 5th level, also extra 10 public order bonus due to load, they are huge. So I did like this basically extra stats comes with Pantheon, because once you have a lot of population, the most problem you're dealing with is the public order. So they are pretty useful. So that's it about the Shrine to Ceres, to our Temple of Temple of Fertility. So we are gonna be jumping to our Shrine to Bacchus. It's the first tier building of Bacchus, and in the game files it goes under Temple of Fun, which is I actually find this temple quite fun because it has the fun stats, traits, and also kind of, I would say, hidden ancillaries and stuff comes with it. So that's one of the most surprising ones for me, because I never built this temple, probably none of my gameplays, but that will change probably. So let's just go ahead. The Shrine to Bacchus gives us 10% of bonus due to happiness, which makes sense since it's the Temple of Fun. We have to maintain the happiness, so public order happiness makes sense. And with the first tier building, our merchant gets devotion to fun. It gives +1 finance when trading wine and +1 finance when trading fabrics and dyes, but takes -1 finance for the grain. So wine makes sense with the fun. Fabrics and dyes, probably in the ancient time this stuff were expensive and only maybe the aristocrats could buy it. Maybe that's how the developers related to fun, but yeah, we won't be staying on that too long. And the Shrine to Ceres didn't give us any bonuses at the first tier, but Bacchus does. The cook ancillary, you see it here, it comes, you can get it from the first tier building. So it gives us +1 personal security, and you have 10% chance to get this ancillary at the end of the turn. So personal security, what this means, it, as you already see here, improves the chances of detecting and foiling assassination attempts. So basically it means this guy's personal security. So if the enemy assassin tries to basically kill this guy, he's gonna have much more difficulty if this guy's personal security is high. So for me, if you will ask me, in the Rome Total War, I didn't struggle from the assassins too much. So I would say the personal security is not one of the very crucial stats I would like to have. I would say in the medieval Total War, if any of you did play before, I think that would matter more, but in here not that much. So it is good to have. It never hurts to have such a thing, but probably I have, like, let's say 8 limit. I have 8 follower limit. If I have something better, let's say if I have a +1 influence or management follower, probably I wouldn't keep this guy on my main family member. Can be the faction leader or a faction heir, but it is always nice to have. So that's all what comes with the shrine to Bacchus, and let's jump to the second tier of Bacchus, which is temple to Bacchus. So our public order bonus due to happiness went up to 20 from 10, and let's see what kind of basically threats and followers we're getting. So there's quite amount of all the other things that you're seeing here. They all came from the um, Temple of Bacchus. So guys, when I'm talking about it comes with it, it doesn't mean that you only have to have the second level. Let's say we cook, right? We just said at the first to the shrine to Bacchus grants you be able to get the cook, but it doesn't mean that Temple of Bacchus doesn't. It is, let's say, just like that, the first tier of the Bacchus building and above, and everything else like Temple of Bacchus and above. If you have like the fourth tier of the Bacchus building, you still may get all these traits and followers here. It's just a requirement, like the least requirement. So with the Temple of Bacchus, we're getting a lot of least requirement for the traits and followers here. So let's start from the traits. We are getting a social drinker with 10% of chance at the end of the turn, which gives us +1 command. Command is a thing that I'm not super fan of it. I'm usually fighting my battles manually, so command doesn't matter for me too much. But if you auto-resolve person, command is pretty precious for you probably, so you would like to have such a thing. Likes a flutter. Under the game files, it goes gambling one. I forgot this goes the drink one, by the way, in the game files. So likes a flutter goes the gambling one and also has a 10% of chance to get at the end of the turn. This is a anti-trait, like a debuff, like a negative trait. So you're getting 5% penalty on all trade income and 10% decrease to cost to bribe. And folks, let's not let this on all trade income confuse you. It doesn't mean the on all trade like the faction wise, like the empire wise, but it means just like a settlement wise. So if the guy has the this anti-trade and if he sits in iridium, it doesn't affect to the suggested trade income. So it is like local, it's like a settlement wise. And let's jump to the other one here, whimsical nature, and it takes influence from us, 1 point influence, -1 influence, and on the game files this goes under Joker 1. This is something I am not sure I have seen it before or not, but very rare to get it with the 2% of chance at the end of the turn. So if you like to have a collection of all different and non basically common traits, you might try to force to get it, but it's not something I would do in my normal playthrough because the -1 influence is not a good basically trait to have. We're jumping to the casual adulterer here, +2 morale for all troops on the battlefield. So this trait so far one of the best. If you're not playing your campaign in the arcade mode, or if you're not auto-resolving again, if you're jumping to the battlefield, morale is very crucial for you. Morale is one of the key points on the battlefield. You're usually not trying to kill all the enemy units, especially in the big battles. You're trying to make them rout and then just slaughter them along the way. So that's why, in order not being able to lose your units due to the breaking, to the basically routing, you have to maintain your high morale. So let's say if this guy has +2 morale, and if he's, let's say, just having a peasants which has 0 morale, one of the easily breaking units, this guy's gonna have like 2 morale, like a town watch. So still not good, still awful, but a bit better at least. So this thing is pretty useful, and on the game files it goes as girls 1 and has only unfortunately 5% of chance at the end of the turn to get this trait. And the last one in here is immoral. It takes an influence point, 1 influence point as well. And under game files is perverted 1, which is a fun name actually, and also have a 5% of chance at the end of the turn to get this trait. And let's jump to the followers. We already talked about cook. Let's jump to the comedian. So comedian gives +1 morale for all troops on the battlefield. Also, great follower, nice to have. I would like to have it in one of my frontline generals. Whoever goes to the conquest, goes to the campaigns. Probably, if this guy is a governor and sits in the one of my settlements, drinks wine and spends his time with his concubines, I wouldn't like that guy have this trait. Probably I will transfer this, move this follower, any other general or family member who actually fights. So that's also a good thing to have. Casual adulterer is a trait. You can't move this trait. Traits are specific to the persons, but followers can be moved. So that is very nice, follower. We'll jumping to drinking companion here. By the way, the comedian, I forgot to mention, the comedian has 8% of chance at the end of the turn, so you can get it. The drinking companion, +1 influence, -1 command, doesn't look so good, but for me is good because I don't care about command, but influence I do care, because with the help of influence, let's say this guy has 3 influence currently and has 100 cavalry, general cavalry follows him. If he had a 8 or 9 influence, probably this cavalry number would go up to 110, 15 maybe. And once your influence is higher, the cavalry protecting your general is going higher, and these units are free replenishing themselves without having them retrain, which is a huge thing. Also, the influence also helps you basically whenever you trying to basically negotiate with the other factions diplomats, and if your influence points is higher, it means your offer would be more likely to accepted by them. So I do like to have a high influence on my important family members, so it is nice for me. But there's one important thing I would like to mention about the drinking companion. It has 7% of chance to get this trait, but it not only works when you're just sitting on the town. Your family member, if you wanna get this drinking companion trait, you have to have drink 2 trait on your family member or general or governor. So as you see, we have drink 1 in here, which gives us 1 command. I didn't add the drink 2 to this guy, but just for showing you what is drink 2 is, I added to Flavius Julius here, likes a drink, so -1 management point. So he starts drinking with the drink 1 trait, and he social drinker, and then he started to likes a drink, and then probably he goes to heavy drinker and something. I don't know what the 3rd level called, but you have to have at least 2 second tier of the drink trait, which is what happens here. We are losing a +1 command from the social drinker, getting -1 management from the likes of drink trait, and we have just 7% in order to get this drinking companion. So I wouldn't basically on purposefully try to get this guy, because I don't think so it's worthy. But as I said, if anyone does it for fun and wants to have all kind of different and difficultly acquired traits and followers, you can go for it. So the next on the line is the gourmand chef, +1 influence point, which is nice, and has a 10% of chance at the end of the turn without any other condition for you able to have it in your family member. And we have a priest of Bacchus. Priest of Bacchus is 15% of chance for getting. All the priests have 15% of chance, and so far what I've seen, all the priests have to be at least requires, let's say, all the priests requires to have a temple of your basically relevant god or goddess temple, like the 2nd tier of the religious building, at least for being able to get that priests. And let's see what the Priest of Bacchus gives. +2 influence, +1 management. Uh, I would say this is huge. Influence management, both points are pretty good, and you're getting like 3 of them. So it is very decent, and not a decent, I would say it's pretty good follower to have. And the last one for our Bacchus building is gonna be, oh, actually I will keep this guy for a little bit later. I will just jump to the agents here. So with the Temple of Bacchus, our I only use the spy here, but that also applies for the assassin as well. You being able to get a courtesan trait, which gives +1 agent skill with 15% of chance, and you also being able to get a dancer trait +2 agent skill with 15% of chance as well. So this applies for spies and assassins. Both can get basically benefited from it. This also requires at least the Temple of Bacchus building in your settlement while they are sitting at the settlement. So that's it for the Temple of Bacchus. Let's go to the higher levels of Bacchus and see what's going on here. Large Temple of Bacchus gives us 30%, which it was 20 at the second tier. And at the fourth tier, we are getting Awesome Temple of Bacchus, 40% instead of 30. And that trade I just showed you, that follower I just showed you, Titus Maccius Plautus. I don't think so I ever had this follower before. If I did, I never paid attention. It's also one of the basically followers that it's not super easy to get. Actually it is easy, but for my playstyle, because I never build a Bacchus building, also never basically improving it until the awesome temple level, so that's why probably I didn't get this guy. So it is actually in the game there's some basically historical characters that you're gonna be seeing. There's some in the Greek, some in the Romans, that if I'm not mistaken, if I already got this follower, no one else, even in my faction or in the other Romans, can get this guy anymore. So I think they're unique. You can get only one of these guys. Priest of Bacchus, you can get like 15 of them. I can let this guy sit on my town, get a Priest of Bacchus, and then maybe I can transfer the Priest of Bacchus to someone else, and after a couple turns this guy might get another Priest of Bacchus again, which is, I think, in some point that's how I'm gonna be using the Priest of Bacchus, maybe in one or two of my settlements in the future playthroughs. I'm gonna build a Bacchus temple and stuff, and maybe leave 1 or 2 family members here for getting this guy or also the comedian, and they can just pump these good followers for me, and I can transfer them to other family members as well. But this guy can be only, I guess, recruited once, like you can get it just only once. And let's see what it gets us. +2 morale for all troops on the battlefield, huge, and 10% bonus to your popularity with the pupil. I would say it's alright, not super big. I would basically appreciate if it would be with Senate instead of pupil. Not because of I like the Senate more than a pupil. I do like the pupil more. I do need their support in my back. But usually I'm playing, my game style is aggressive expansion. So once I'm already holding like 20-25 settlements, my pupil support is always being somewhere here. I am never lack of pupil support. But since I'm not always doing all the missions that Senate asks for me to do, my relationship decreases with the Senate a bit. So I would rather have a Senate bonus rather than having a pupil bonus here, because pupil always likes me. So this guy has 80% of chance if you have the awesome temple of basically Bacchus. If you already built the awesome temple of Bacchus, you have 80% of chance at the end of the turn to be able to get this guy. But there's another condition here. Your turn, basically when you bring it here, it says turn 2 here. Your turn should be between 90 and 172. So you can only get this guy between these turns. If I'm at the turn 89, there's no way that I'm getting this guy. At the same time, if I'm at the turn 173 and over, you already missed this guy. So I don't know why they did. I'm not sure. It is because of in that turns the time at the game being close to the time in the real time this guy lived or performed or whatever. Probably it's because of that, but it is just a nice detail and also nice basically condition for being able to get this guy. It's kind of probably it's not an Easter egg or something, but it kind of feels like it. So let's jump to the I'm sorry, we forgot about the last building of the Bacchus. So the Pantheon of Bacchus gives us 50% of public bonus due to happiness. From somewhere we started to get population growth bonus per turn 1% and population public order bonus due to low 10%. So we're getting two new stats here, these guys. Public order due to the bonus law is great. I would like to have it at the when I'm reaching to the higher population levels, but populational growth bonus per turn, I can't say the same thing for it, because probably I wouldn't want my city grow more than that, and I would appreciate it if it's somewhere around here, but at the like last stage I don't think so I would need it. If I'm already here, I mean, if I'm building this building, it means I am already at the I already built the Imperial Palace and there's nowhere else to grow. And I don't know if some of you folks likes to see your cities over 30-40,000 of population. I don't even know if it's possible or not. I do usually like to keep it around 20s, if it's possible a little less than 20, so I don't have to deal with the too much public order issues. Also, I don't have to keep a huge amounts of garrisons in my town or settlement. So yeah, that doesn't make too much sense for me, but this is good bonus, good extra bonus to have. And now last on our list for today is Jupiter, my favorite one, my own favorite one. So the Shrine to Jupiter gives us 5% public order bonus due to the happiness and 5% due to the law, which is both of them at the end are the public order bonuses, which is nice. And at the first tier, you're only getting a devotion for your merchant and no other trait or merchants for your family member or anyone else. And this devotion is by far probably the most interesting and useful one probably to for my game style, I would say. Devotion to leadership, +1 finance when trading slaves and -1 when not trading slaves. Why I did say that, because once I'm starting slowly to expand over the further regions than my capital, let's say I'm taking the Gaul's capital here, I think it's somewhere here, the Alicia or whatever. Once I'm taking it, they don't have too less population. They have probably somewhere around like 8 to 10,000 of population, and it is kind of far from my capital, so they're definitely gonna have, and they have a different culture there, so they're definitely gonna have a public order issues. I don't want to exterminate them because that's gonna completely slaughter their population, and it's gonna be too difficult to get it raised up again. So most of the time I just enslave all the settlements after one point. I'm just keep enslaving every settlement I'm taking, because I don't also want to leave like a half of my army as a garrison. I want to continue my conquest, also don't want to deal with too much public order, so I'm just enslaving. And another bonus is enslaving is, let's say I enslaved like 5,000 people here. These 5,000 enslaved people is being divided evenly among my any other settlements on the game. So it also helps. Let's consider that I'm already holding the Patavium and trying to rush the 24,000 population here for being able to build the Imperial Palace. It's also another good advantage. And since I'm playing too much with the slaves, that might be pretty useful. You can just leave this guy in somewhere with the slaves, and he's gonna grant you more denarii than he did before. So that's the only basically trait we've been able to get with the first tier Jupiter building, to the Shrine to Jupiter building. Let's jump to the second tier, Temple of Jupiter. Gives us, so both basically bonuses went up to 10 from 5 here, and we're starting to have some traits and followers for our family member. The first one, first trait on the list is the understanding of strategy. It goes on the strategic skill 1 in the game files, and we have 10% of chance at the end of the turn for getting it, and it gives us +1 command. Again, for the auto-resolve people, it's a good trait. Not for me that much, but it never hurts to have it. And no enemies. It is the second trait we're getting with the Temple of Jupiter. Under the game files, it's a trusting one, and it also has 10% of chance at the end of the turn for getting this trait. Gives us +1 influence, -1 personal security. Same, it might not look so good. I would appreciate this trait. I don't care about personal security too much unless you're already having like -4 or 5, which means you very easily basically you very easy target for the assassins, but -1 or 2 it's okay. +1 influence I consider more useful than this guy here. And about the followers, we're also getting a Priest of Jupiter with a 15% of chance, +1 influence, command and management. It's not good as Bacchus in my opinion, because I would prefer having another extra point as an influence other than command, but still a decent follower to have. And we are having this guy here, the Lictor. Again, this guy probably I never had it. I mean, it doesn't ring a bell at all. Under the game file, it goes under Fasces, I believe that's how pronounced. If I have to spell, it's gonna be Fasces. So it's Fasces, and it has special condition rather than basically depending on the 15% of chance to get it triggered at the end of the turn. So for getting this follower, your settlement have to be rioting while your family member is in it, and you already have it, let's say Temple of Jupiter. This guy stays in the town, and the town should be rioting. You still have like only 15% of chance for getting this trait, but let's see what it gives to us. It gives us +1 public security. The difference between public and personal security. Personal security is against assassins. Public security is against, I would say, spy and assassins. Spies because of they can't infiltrate easily. They might die when they're trying to infiltrate. Also, it doesn't let the opponents to get more information about your settlement and garrison. And for assassins, I believe because of their sabotage, so they can't sabotage easily. So if you have a higher public security, it's more difficult for them to sabotage any of your buildings, and which is not super important for me as well. They can come and see, they can send their spies, they can just sit in my city, they can be enjoying the prosperous city and see how the settlement should be basically governed, and maybe they can take some couple of things for themselves if they're gonna have a chance to survive. That's a different story, but yeah, I don't care about the public security too much. And we have +2 law, improves the public order. That's what I'm calling a good stat. The +2 law is a nice buff for your settlement, especially in the higher population levels, let's say. Since it directly improves your public order, that's very good to have. And I'll keep this guy for later. Let's jump to the third level, large Temple of Jupiter. So both of the bonuses goes up to 15 from 10, and the awesome Temple of Jupiter, the both bonuses goes up to 20 from 15. And also we are starting to be able of training Arcana units. They have a very good morale. They have a decent defense and armor. Their melee attack is nice. Very good thing about them, they have +2 hit points, and they can hide anywhere. If you know, you can hide some of your units in the forests, in the high bushes, but these guys doesn't matter. That place is, even the places that your regular units can't hide, they can hide. The only condition for them is just you shouldn't move them. But they have a much less number of soldiers in a troop. These guys can be used as a shock units, I would say. They can be hidden in the battlefield somewhere, and you can try to use them hitting the enemy from their flanks or from the rear side, maybe trying to take the general out when they are busy with something else. I'm not a great user of the Arcanis, but they are kind of fun units. Like uh, I wouldn't rely my basically battle um, uh, fate from them. They they cannot be the key element, but if you know how to use, you can get a decent basically proficiency from them. And we have another follower that uh, can be triggered and can be obtained with at least awesome temple of Jupiter and above, which is Pontifex. It has 15% of chance at the end of the turn if you already built the awesome temple of Jupiter. It gives us +1 influence, +1 command, and 10% bonus to your popularity with people. Influence is good, can say the same thing with command, and about the popularity with people, again, would be great if it would be Senate, but it is better than having nothing, so why not? So that is it with the fourth tier, and let's check the Pantheon. At the Pantheon, our 20 percent bonus on public order bonus due to happiness goes up to 35. We're getting 15%. It was 15, right? Yeah, it was 15% of basically increase in here, and just 5% increase due to the law. And again, we are getting population growth bonus per 10 out of nowhere, and sounds pretty useless for me, but the reason that I do like this Jupiter line is because of they have a decent amount of public order bonuses, and also the temple, the temple of Jupiter, the priest of Jupiter, is a nice one. So never actually gave a chance for Bacchus. I didn't know it comes with a great priest and stuff, and they have some negative traits, but still might be used. So I don't know how this can affect your gameplay, guys, but what sounds logical to me, I can still basically the Ceres or Jupiter. Probably I will do my temple choice from one of these two in, I would say, 80-90% of my settlements, but in some 2 or 3 experiment settlements I can leave the shrine or the temple of Bacchus, so I can get that followers from there and transfer them to any other generals or family members in my tree line basically. So guys, that's it for today. That's all about the Julii temples. I try to cover as much as possible and try to be as detailed as possible. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. I would like to hear your opinions on the comment section as well. I will be continuing this series with the Brutii and Scipii first of all, and then I'll jump to the rest of the other factions. And I will be seeing you one of the upcoming episodes then.